what I just chanted is to bring through what is called the etheric cloak of the prophet Elijah, because in the sequencing, it's going above the crown, soul star, third eye, heart, hara. So it's creating a cloak of light. And that was called the Aderet, and Yeshua, also known as Jesus, that's nested in the tradition. So this is the esotericism underneath sacred text, rooted in harmonics of sound and light and number. And if you're meditating on a crop circle and you want to call in an ascended master, a being that was on the earth but is now returned to a home in a higher dimension, this would be a good card to use. Now, we're back to 55, the measure of the light body. In 1997, there were a lot of Kabbalistic symbols in the fields. This is actually 6 trees of life from a common Keter or a common Malchut, right? 6 times 9 is 54. 55 is the central one. So if you have a Keter and you send a snowflake of 6 trees of light. I did this once ceremonially. It was very beautiful, hard to organize. But so, and then there was little ones around it. 126 is Anav, humility, the eye of the heart, the nave of the wheel. So I felt that this one is very useful for alchemy to help find the homeopathic signature or the vibratory pattern, which is basically what homeopathy is about. It's about finding the vibratory signature that can help unravel samskaras, things that are impediments to you being at one with your source frequencies, okay? And there were 72 smaller circles, 52 larger ones. 72 is the master number for crop circles. It means cosmic consciousness, Christ consciousness. It's the, how shall we say it? It connects you with source energy. It's a fifth of a circle. And many of the crop circles, including the one which I didn't throw up here, which was called the Great Shelford Angel, one of the most popular of all crop circles, is based on 72. So this is a card for alchemy. Here's 64, 8 times 8, and indeed there were 64 around. However, if you count the ones that weren't filled in, it hits 72. If you fly to Egypt with me sometimes, you might see that on the airplane, the wings of Horus. So this connects Chinese, Hebrew, Egyptian. It's one of the master ones. And when I mentioned earth acupuncture, there's a sense that there are some places around Silbury Hill that are actually portals or ley lines that go right to the Giza pyramid and then get distributed around the whole earth grid. And this was one of those master circles. I think this is Steve's photograph, and you get the sense of dimension here. You can see how this is energy is being gathered and then spiraled in and then probably relayed to here and then relayed out the grid. Beautiful, beautiful circle. Now, the oracle comes directly from the I Ching. It is the creative that begets things, but they are brought to birth. I'm sorry, that's the receptive there, and there's 8 receptives. A creative would be 8 strong lines, but what you see in this circle is 8 receptives in the I Ching. So it's this one, it's just hard not to love it. By the way, on the card deck, I've put a resource or a book that would help enhance the understanding of every circle, and I felt that the book that Maurice Cotterell and Adrian Gilbert, who will be speaking later this weekend, put together called The Mayan Prophecies would be very, very useful. So what I did with the Oracle card deck was create something that could be a year-long study program, if somebody has that long, that allows the crop circles to open up all sorts of understandings of the esoterics. This was a favorite of many, and most people felt this was 2 dolphins swimming. The number 66 in Hebrew is the word Gilgal. It means wheel, the wheel of incarnation, the wheel of your various incarnations. Fascinating circle. There is some who believe that there are masters from Atlantis that took embodiments as dolphins. How many people in this room have swum with dolphins? That's pretty good. I'd say about a third. Do you remember how you felt in the dream state the night after swimming with the dolphins? Quite a joyful experience. I've known of people who had major healings after swimming with dolphins. So, and Ms. Patricia Corey's, her core mission right now, and I think she's around in Glastonbury, is to keep people aware of the negative impact of some of the massacre of dolphins that has gone on, particularly outside of Japan. So, but as masters of a different kind of language than we as humans have, dolphins, and this is just my poetic supposition, but I believe, honestly, that dolphins and whales are listening to the star music. They're listening to the music of the spheres, and because they're in the medium of water, they can share that. And of course, if you go to the native understanding, they are the record keepers of a former cosmic day. We're living in the 6th cosmic day, but they hold the records from the 5th cosmic day of creation. So one of the ways to tune in to a much deeper timeline than our firefly human lifetime is to tune into a species that has a much deeper relationship to Earth history, okay? So the oracle for this one is explore your universe with pure sound. Experiment with pitch, tone, resonance, rhythm, and vocal harmonics. Resonate and echolocate. So I guess it's time for me to ask you to chant with me, eh? Let's see what we're going to do. It tends to be that males, like myself, prefer lower vibrational pure tones, whereas females like to go up into the higher ranges and more into something like scat singing. But how about we'll do an experiment, see how it sounds. We'll take 3 or 4 tones. Dolphins. Well, let's just do 2. We'll do ooh and ah, okay? And I want you to explore sound with pitch, with tone, with rhythm with it. It might sound chaotic, but we're all going to try it together, okay? All begin, and you'll all join in. So try that little thing that I'm doing where I'm just opening and closing my mouth. Okay, that's just your first experiment. I expect that every time you're in the bathtub, from now on, you're going to be making dolphin sounds. I've put tape recorders, MP3 files would be made. We're going to make money with this project, I know. Here's 77. I was not really able to... How are we doing time-wise, by the way? Still have like a half hour? What? 20 minutes. Okay, I'm going to have to speed this up a bit. This one, I didn't analyze this circle. A channel that I work with told me it was a 5th dimensional. It was very interesting. But the story is there's a 7-year-old girl, if anybody knows her, named Lyra, who has the same birthday I do. And I hung out with that girl for about an hour and a half. She owned the circle. It was her playground. She arrives with a stuffy that's a unicorn, which is a symbol from Capricorn, actually, and a dog named Sirius, and her mom told me that she was in the circles before she was born. So I thought, interesting, star kid. You know about star kids? She is a star kid. really fun to be with. So if this one comes up in an oracle, 77 in Hebrew is mazal, constellations, okay? And the phrase mazel tov means zodiacal good fortune. So I thought, interesting. And in summer here in Britain, you will have 3 stars. Vega, which is the star for Ma'at, cosmic harmony. The harp of Orpheus is also that in Greek. Deneb in Cygnus, and Mr. Andrew Collins has written a whole book about Cygnus, believing that in about 17,000 years ago, there were shamans going into caves in the British Isles, tuning into Cygnus star system, and he even believes that part of 2012 may be signals from Cygnus. And Altair in Aquila, which is a very nearby star, which you're going to see in a second. This man is a retired astronomer.